Hello and welcome to another episode of the Peelerz Podcast, where we discuss the nitty-gritty and pretty side of stripping with your main host, Kruella Kraken and
Ania Woods.
Hell yeah! We're talking about what everyone assumes with strippers, the daddy issues, the family issues, the everything, which I don't think we have much of, but we're going to talk about it anyway.
It's always everyone's first question. They're always like, what does your family think?
Well, for you, maybe the first question is, tattoos hurt?
Oh, yeah. So funny, tattoos. Yeah, I guess when they see you. Yeah.
I'm like, what does your dad think about your face tattoo? I'm like, I don't know. He also has face tattoos.
That's so fucking funny.
Hell yeah. So I find that this whole stigma of having daddy issues isn't exactly just for strippers. I think most women have daddy issues of some kind.
Or like, I don't know, like I think every family fucks their kid up. I think it's honestly impossible not to.
Yeah.
Like how do you not fuck your kid up? Hence the reason we don't want kids.
Yeah. With how fast technology is like progressing and all this stuff, like I need technology to do and record this stuff, and still half of this IA shit is so confusing. And to bring a child up with all of this crazy technology that we don't even have time to learn, I just feel like there's always going to be a barrier between how to parent correctly with the information that's coming out at a constant rate, you know?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, because I'm sure your parents were the same as mine. They're like, this is what my mom did, so now this is what I do.
Yeah, totally. I really felt like my mom brought me up really well, and like, I mean, as well as she could. Like, my mom was really young when she had me. She was only 17.
Really?
Yeah, she was super young when she had me. So,
are you the oldest?
I am, of four. It goes me, my brother, and then my two sisters. And yeah, she had me at 17, my brother at 19, and then Hannah and Rana down the road later when she met my stepdad. But yeah, she was so young, and yeah, to the best that she could be, as I was saying, it's like pretty hard not to fuck up your kid when just being a parent in general is hard, and then let alone when you're young. Like I can't imagine having a kid now, let alone when I was 17.
Yeah.
So.
And I find that people nowadays, it's hard to say. I only have a few friends that are parents, but it used to be like my parents were like, this is what my mom and dad did, so this is what you get, you know, kind of thing. And now I find that everyone who has children that are my age are like, my parents did this, so I am not doing that, you know, the whole completely breaking the chain scenario, the whole like, what is it called? Ending a cycle, you know, and I love that. I also think like traditional, there should be some things that stay within the family, like certain, you know.
Are you talking like traditions or like?
Traditions, or just like my dad was really into keeping your word.
Okay.
Yeah, and I liked that about him, even though sometimes it was to his detriment. Like sometimes you just shouldn't keep your word, but he was always like, and that's kind of what I liked him, is that he always knew, even if it wasn't right, he was very set in his ways, and I am set in my ways as well, and I kind of liked that about myself. You know, even if I didn't agree with half of the shit he said. But yeah, it's difficult, and that's why I'm never gonna have fucking kids ever.
Yeah, and like I mean that is another thing why I don't want to have kids, is because there was a lot like, and I never want my mom to ever think that I'm not appreciative or like that she didn't do a good job, because she fucking did. Like I'm super proud of who I am and my family. I'm so happy of where I came from. So, but I do remember like, kids are annoying, and I remember feeling like I was annoying to my parents, you know? And it's like when I see people with children and they are playing with them and like having fun with them, I'm like, that's not fake? Like, you actually like that? Because I only found that my mom was as ever nice to me when I was a kid when other people were around. Other than that, she was like, get out of my hair.
I thought I was the only one that felt that, and I thought I was so evil deep within, because even if I've dated a guy and they see a kid and suddenly they're like, oh my God, and they're holding the kid and they're playing with the kid, I'm like, you faking this for me?
Yeah, like you must be faking it. There's no way you like that. There's no way you like hanging out with a kid.
And some people like kids, but it's like us with cats and stuff. We're like, people enjoy it. Yeah. Feels like they're faking it, but okay, sure.
Yeah, it's just like different interests. I mean, I went out to my grandma's birthday. It was 2 days ago, and my cousins were out there. Their kids, like, they're a little bit older, and then my cousins also have kids, so they're like babies. Mm-hmm. And I like those kids because it's like I only get to see them every once in a while, like family things. Their parents are kind of taking care of them. My mom's taking care of them. Like I don't need to, in any way to like put forth a lot of energy towards them, but I like them, like talking to them, giving them a hug and saying hi and like whatever. I'll play catch with the dog ball. The little baby was like throwing the dog ball at me, and I was like, this is actually pretty cute, but I didn't want to do that like all day.
No, I feel that way too. I've been recently connecting with I wouldn't say stepmom, but the person, like my dad's baby mom, I guess.
Okay.
And trying to connect to see my sister. We'll get into all this, but my sister's 8 or 9, and I'm still like, am I going to enjoy time with her? You know, like, I can't just drop the kid off and I spend a day with it. What would I do? What are kids like? Am I going to have fun? Can I tell the kid to give me my space? Like, is that a thing? Just lock him in the basement really quick. Like, I need some time alone.
Yeah, how do I not traumatize this kid?
Especially with my house, like... There's just dead things everywhere. Like one time my cousin came over and just like held on to his mom, like dear life, screamed, crying. Just,
absolutely no kidding. I am not shocked by that one bit. I think if I came in here if I was a kid, I'd be terrified as well.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure I would have been.
I grew up with this stuff, so yeah. All right, so let's make this about stripping. We both have extremely supportive mothers. I'm not sure if your dad feels the same because I've never seen him at Stripper Olympics for obvious reasons.
Yeah, no, my dad, so I have 2 dads. Like I have my biological dad and then my stepdad. Mm-hmm. They're both they're both big parts of my life and super supportive of what I do. They help me with my props and like they'll help me like ship my stuff to and from Shade and like set it up and like take measurements and like they do all that stuff. So they help behind the scenes because obviously they don't want to come see me and I don't want them to come see me, but like that's obviously it is weird. So they help in ways that they feel better about helping me with.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Were you just plain out honest when you started dancing, or was it like a slow work your way in? Like, I'm waitressing. Oh, tee-hee, I'm only a topless waitress. Tee-hee. Like,
yeah, it was kind of like that. But I did actually start out like bartending and waitressing, so that wasn't a lie.
Yeah.
And I remember my mom begging me. She's like, please don't start stripping. Don't start stripping. And I was like, oh, fuck. Like, because I wanted to so bad. Like, that's why I was working at the strip clubs is because I was like, I want to be up there. I just don't have the balls to do it yet. Mm-hmm. And then I started doing amateur contests. And
how many did you win before?
Oh my God, I don't know. I have months. I was like one of those people that would like go and do the competition. So there was at the time so many strip clubs when I first started dancing, but on Mondays was Diamond's wet t-shirt. So it was essentially an amateur contest, but you just get wet. And then Tuesday was Eden's version of that. And then Wednesday was Diamond's amateur contest. And then Thursday was Eden's version of that. So
there used to be, because I would do that too, where you could do every day of the fucking week almost.
Oh my God, I was making loads of money because if you win $400, and you would usually win. Like honestly,
if you were
like
even a little good, yeah.
And I had a dance background, and I wanted to do this, and I've always had a lot of like sexual, sensual vibes to me.
Yeah, so you kind of ooze sex on stage.
Yeah, and honestly, I always have. So it's like it was pretty easy to win. I would win a lot of the times. And once in a while, maybe I'd get second, but like that was still $100. So I was like a career almost. Like I was just going to all the contests and then just working on the weekends.
For everyone who doesn't know, the amateur contests within Edmonton are for girls who are not strippers, not signed on to an agency, have no record of being a stripper because you'll get disqualified. But so it's like for the average Joe to make $400.
Yeah. So we kind of like, what do you call like, what does it say when you like something the system?
Fuck the system?
I don't know, but I was just like, you're not meant to do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Like they want like girls that like they were like amateur pros, you know? And so but so I started doing that amateur contest, and then eventually I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna actually, there was that. Do you remember the contract thing? If you won this contest, you'd win a contract.
Yes.
So I was going to start dancing, and then JP's like, oh, well, we're going to be doing that contract thing. Like, you'll likely win it. So, like, just compete in that competition. And then if you don't win it, then get your license. Mm-hmm. So that's what I did. And I got the contract. And that contract came with, like, a free costume, free promo. They paid for your dancer license. And, but it was, you were contracted to E2 clubs only.
Yeah.
So that was actually cool because I got my foot in the door with Diamonds and Eden right away, whereas a lot of girls had to do the circuit for a long time.
Oh, God, yeah.
So I never had to do the circuit. I was on stage with them.
Just privileged.
Right away.
Yeah.
But I did have a dance background. Like, I felt like I came out swinging when it came to dancing. So, yeah, I was just freelancing at first, though, because I just wanted to get my feet wet. And then once I did start dancing, it was because a dancer named Gabriella was sick. And she's like, I really need to go home. Can you take my show? And I was like, what? Me? And then, and she's like, you can borrow all my costumes. Because I think she saw like 2 shows left. She's like, you can pick whatever costume you want. And she's like, you can use my promo. Because like we didn't look anything alike. But she was like, just use my promo. And yeah, I just used all her stuff. And I became obsessed. I booked out the week after I was on stage.
Do you remember what your first costume was?
Yeah, it was like a little baseball outfit.
Nice.
Yeah, it was cute. It was originally a Halloween costume, but I got it like tailored to put zippers and stuff in it. And it was actually so hot. It was I would like to get a new one like that.
Are you a baseball fan? Do you play?
No, but it's just a hot costume.
Hell yeah. For clarification for the audience, E2 is the agency that we work under. It is.
It's not. It's Essential Entertainment.
E2 is the like bigger clubs within Alberta. The Grand Prairie
it's
Cormac,
a company.
Yeah, that owns a few clubs, and JP is our manager. Speaking of amateur contests, do you remember seeing me?
Yeah, I do remember seeing you. Like, so that night is like embedded in my head because I was like, that girl is so tattooed and she is so good. I'm like, she has to be a stripper. And Sasha Love was sitting beside me and she's like, I think she is a stripper, but in Saskatchewan. And I was like, what? I was so confused because I was like, stripping in Saskatchewan is not a thing.
No, we did it legally, but I wouldn't say it was illegal. But we did it like underground because you couldn't do it in clubs. So it was like all private events and stuff, like
private parties.
Yeah, we did have one go-go dancing gig where like we did have one of those traveling poles. So our pole skills weren't what they could be for sure, because if you see those like stages with the poles, they wobble quite a bit. They don't have much room to like spread out, and if you do big movements, they go whomp, 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 whomp. So it's really hard to dance. But yeah, I had to do those amateur contests to basically try out to be an Alberta dancer.
Yeah, and you killed it. I was like, this is insane. You won it, right?
I went to all 4 and I got first at all 4 of them. So I was like, obviously I got the job, but my mistake is that I was with 2 other girls and I was like, oh, we're going to do this together. Like, no matter who wins or what, like, we'll just split the money.
And you won, so you're like, fuck.
I think one of them got second and won. So I was like, fuck, I just have to share all my money. And like on the 4th day, my friend Sydney bailed on even doing the competition. And I'm like, oh, good. So I just have to give her some money for no fucking reason.
Oh, I wouldn't have given her money if she didn't compete.
Well, back then I didn't have a backbone. I was like brand new and like we were all going down. Like it was Bear who brought us to Edmonton and like got us to try out what it was like and to see the dancers. Out of all 4 amateur nights, I only remember you and Sasha and Beretta Guns.
She would have been at Diamonds, but you would have remembered Sasha and I at Shade.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I remember your pink outfit. I remember Sasha's Where's Waldo outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the fact that you guys danced and did, like, we were like, where's the swing around the pole? Like, it was almost like everyone just kind of walked and then they put their back to the pole and then walked the other way. And it, like, put us at ease because we're like, oh, my God, we can totally do this. Mm-hmm. But, fuck, things have changed.
Oh my God, yeah, dancers now have like accelerated like so much. Like we're mostly in Alberta, I would say, maybe BC a bit too. Dancers are just absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Even like when I traveled to Australia and I've just went to a few strip clubs in the world, like Australia is probably a second close. They've got a lot of talented dancers too, but like when Alberta dancers come there, they annihilate it.
Yeah.
Like there's a dancer right now, Rosie Skies, that she's in Melbourne right now. And she was there when I was there, and we both worked at like separate clubs, and she's still there, and she's fucking killing it. I think she just actually won one of the Australian competitions because she's so good. But yeah, congratulations to her for doing that.
And Lexi.
Oh, Lexi Winters. Yeah, she's down there right now. She's like touring or something. Yeah, I've been kind of slightly following along with her. Her stuff doesn't pop up on my Instagram as much as I would like it to with all she's doing.
Shadow band, woo!
Yeah.
Okay, we got super sidetracked. How did your parents even find out? Did we get to that?
No, we didn't get to how our parents found out.
When did they find out? How deep were you in it? Was like the first day
I was on stage for a while, and like they were advertising like on like Eden and Diamonds back then, like me, because I just stayed in the city. It was my auntie that found out actually that I was stripping, and she threatened to tell my mom, and she was really mad at me. My auntie was really mad at me. I had like a super close relationship with my auntie. Well, it wasn't close. It was like toxic. It was very, very close, toxic relationship with her. She was my dance teacher growing up.
Oh.
Yeah. So she's very bitter that I became a dancer because you basically used what she taught me in her eyes negatively.
Just making way more money than you would as
anything else.
A dancer here, like a normal choreographed dancer or instructor. Yeah.
So, I'd quit teaching dance for her, and so she knew that something was up, and it didn't take much of a search to find it. Like, all you have to do is go onto one of those websites and boom, pictures are popping up. So yeah, she found it and sent it to me and threatened that she was going to tell my mom. So when she said that, I was like, go for it. But I called my mom right after, and I was like, hey, I have something to tell you, like, and I don't care what you're going to say. I was like, because I can look myself in the mirror, and I'm happy doing what I'm doing, and I'm proud of who I am, and I'm no different. And if you choose to disown me because of that, I'm like, that is your prerogative. Mm-hmm. And I was like, but I'm a stripper. And my mom's like, I can't believe you thought that I would ever turn my back on you. Like, she's like, if you're happy doing what you're doing, I support you.
Well, when like my mom said the same thing your mom did, like, please don't become a stripper. Mm-hmm. She always said, like, you're just so much smarter than those girls. And I'm like,
they just didn't know.
Yeah, like, what the fuck do you know about strippers? But I was the exact same. Like, you are what you're taught. And when strippers came to the tattoo shop I was working at, they were doing like a poker night, and they had strippers come, and I was like, I need to leave early because I don't want to see these fucking girls. Like, I was actually angry about the fact that they were coming. One, I was dating a guy that hated strippers at the time, and my parents taught me that, like, they have no values. They just want to ruin every relationship, that, like, they're just money hungry, that they hate you as much as you hate them kind of thing. Mm. And none of it was true. Hung out with them for like 45 minutes before their like shift started. They were awesome. They even look like me, like all tattooed, all weird. And like one had a pit bull she brought. It was great.
Which is funny. I've always been infatuated with strippers since I was young. Like, I actually knew I wanted, this is a wild fact about me.
I said that too as a kid.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. When I was 16, I knew I wanted to be a stripper.
I said it way younger.
Really?
I was in elementary school, and I just finished a documentary. Like, my parents were watching it, and I just kind of was like sitting with my friends, and it was playing, and my friends were talking about the day after about how like strippers are demeaning. And my one friend said, like, I would totally do it, because she was like, I want lots of money. And she knew she was good looking at the time, even as a very young child. She's like, I'd like to just make money off of my looks. And I'm like, yeah, I totally would too, if it wasn't like so bad for you. Because like they really made it seem like you get addicted to everything. And because back in the day it was different. You get addicted to everything. You get like pimped out. All this horrible stuff happens to you. And I remember talking about that in elementary school, being like, if that didn't happen to me, I would love to strip.
Yeah, I never seen it as that. I always seen it as like exotic dancing, and that's all I seen. I never really was like, oh, there's drugs involved and there's like pimps and sex and all this stuff, which is not. Maybe back then there was, but I never seen it as that. I always seen it as these like beautiful, confident women that like controlled the room. And I remember the first time I ever seen a stripper, it was my 18th birthday. We went to this really shithole of a bar, and there was a bachelor party there that had strippers. Like, you know, when like Holden and stuff would do like nights of strippers. Yeah, it was like that. It was in Daysland. And there was a stripper there, and I was just like infatuated with her. Like I got her number and everything. And then it wasn't long after that I was in Holden actually, and there were strippers in Holden, and I was talking to them, and I was just like so excited about all of it. And then I went to Hinton and seen them. Like they were always in like little dive bars, and I was just like,
do you remember who your first girl you seen on stage was? The first one that you remember, the like...
I don't remember her name, but I remember her. Like, I remember her. And she was wearing like Carhartts. Like, one of her costumes was like a Carhartt thing.
Cute.
And I was also wearing Carhartts for my birthday. And I was like, look at us, we have the same costume.
It's wild too that like strippers nowadays, like Brie Vibes said like, oh, the whole reason I started dancing is because of you.
I know.
So
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, I've had people say that to me too. It's fucking incredible. Sasha Love was probably one of my like inspirations. I definitely would like, I seen other strippers obviously and knew I wanted to be a stripper, but I loved watching Sasha, and I was like, oh my God, like she's the girl that like makes me want to do it. When she's on stage, I'm like being like, I want to get up there so bad, you know?
Yeah. No, she's fucking rad. She's half the reason I wanted to start too.
Yeah, she's just so fun on stage.
She's very fun, very fun, very good at her like musicality. She knows exactly what music to dance to and what works with her body and her style of dance, because her style of dance doesn't look anything like
anybody else's
on stage. Yeah,
no, she very much has her own style.
Little bum, but can shake it better than fucking anyone I know. Yeah.
So your mom found out, and then what about like your brother and stuff? Because obviously you tell your mom first. Mom knows everything first.
Yeah, and I didn't even tell my mom. I didn't tell my mom because I started in small agencies within Saskatchewan, and I was just go-go dancing. I didn't actually strip until I had a mortgage already and all this other shit. I was just like, I even owned the company and was just a go-go dancer. I still wasn't a stripper. No, that's wrong. I was a stripper when I owned my own company. So I went to one company, got treated horribly. Looking back at it, because I was 18 and the owner, very mentally abused. He definitely knew how to take like advantage of young girls and get as much work out of them as possible. I was not like pimped out, but probably fucking close to. Once the whole frontal lobe developed and I realized that he really isn't treating any of us right, and he's also sleeping with girls way too young for him and everything, I'm like, I can't be around anything like this. I went to another company. That's where I started to just do topless. Okay. And then he was blatantly, another man owning his company, blatantly stealing our money. And then he like really fucked up. He made a fake profile as a woman that was like this other secret owner. And her name was Delilah. She's not real. And would convince girls to send this girl nudes to like apply and stuff like that. We found out because back in the day on Facebook, if you clicked on a message and held it, it would pop up and show you where that message was sent.
What?
That feature doesn't exist anymore.
Crazy.
So it was like she would come online on Facebook and then he would come online. And then so we clicked on his, boop, boop, and it showed up Martinsville. And then we went to her last message, boop, boop, Martinsville. And she's like, oh no, I'm in Edmonton, Alberta. I'm like one of the biggest dancers there is. Like, you really want to work under me, blah, blah, like.
Oh my god.
Super creepy and toxic. So we all left. Every single one of us just up and fucking left that company. And me and the two main dancers, so there's three of us, started our own company. And I just called my mom, was like, we're doing our own thing. It's just go dancing. And before you know it, it was like, I had a gold hearse that said pink champagne. What was it? Saskatchewan's only traveling strip club. Because we bring the lights, we bring the pole, we do this. And it just kind of like, we're strippers. Like, they looked at the thing and they're like, oh, strip club. Hey, I'm like, yep. Never talked about it ever again. They never asked if I was also stripping or if anything. They just looked at the car and it said, Canada's first traveling strip club. And they're like, okay.
Cool. That's so cool.
Me and my mom did talk about it later and she's like, well, I know you're smart and I know you're not going to make dumb decisions. And that was it. I'm sure my dad did not like it. He was raised Hutterite. He's very in his ways. He does not like anything sex work, anything abortion, anything. Is liberal the right word?
Yeah, maybe, yeah. He's very conservative, yeah.
Very conservative. So I'm sure he didn't like it, but he didn't vocalize it to me, and that's fine because shortly after I did completely stop talking to him. Yeah. Yeah. But no, now my mom comes to Stripper Olympics. She even thought, like, this is what blew my mind, is that she said nothing to me about stripping until Stripper Olympics came around the second year when I won. She came to watch, and she's like, yeah, okay. I'm going to be kind of uncomfortable. And she was sitting there, and we're like driving there, and she's sweating. I can see she's stressed out. And I'm like, what's wrong? And she's like, well, I'm really concerned. Like, I don't want to sit anywhere where people are going to touch me. And I'm like, who's touching you? Why would people touch you? What do you mean? She's like, people don't touch you there? I'm like, what? No, they don't touch me. There's no, like, they legally can't touch me, but why the fuck would they be touching you?
Yeah, a customer, yeah.
Yeah, she's like, well, because I'm a woman. I'm like, no, that's not going to happen. There's absolutely no touch whatsoever. She's like, okay. She's like, do you want me to leave when you start getting naked? Like, does it get weird? Like, kind of hinting, like, are you masturbating on stage? And like, no, mom, nothing like that happens. Insertion's illegal. We can't even eat anything on stage because it's insertion. She's like, okay. And she's like, what about the guys on front row? Do they jerk off the whole time?
Ew,
and I was like, Mom!
What the fuck? Like, what have you been imagining that I've been doing?
And I remember the first dancer she's seen, she came in, she sat upstairs, and she's seen Melina Combat.
No Buckley.
No Buckley.
Oh, God, really? That's amazing that's who she's seen first.
And she, like, looked on front row, and she's like, everyone's clothed, and everyone's acting appropriately, and, like, it's not like the movies. I'm like, yes, Mom, it's not like that. Watches Melina's show, and she just jaw to the floor, goes, oh my, you do that? I'm like, yes, that's what we do. That's what you do. I'm like, yes. Oh my God, that's insane. You do that. I'm like, yes, that's what I do. She was also blown away, not Melina specifically, but every single one of us had cellulite. And she's like, you're all fit and you have cellulite. I'm like, yes, Mom, normal bodies have that. You've only seen strippers in movies. So she's expecting like, I think she was also expecting me to be like humiliated because of the way I look. She was kind of hinting that everyone would be like crazy gorgeous and like, we are women. We look normal.
Yeah.
99% of women have cellulite. Like, it blew her mind that we were doing crazy talented shit. We had normal bodies. Not everyone had boob jobs. People had stretch marks. People had C-section scars. Like, the fact that we were real women blew her away. So, yeah, ever since she's seen that Stripper Olympics, she brags about how I'm a stripper now.
Yeah. My mom, too, actually. So, the first competition she ever seen me compete in was Miss Nude Canada. And I think she had like reservations about it too. And then she was just like, I can't believe how cool that was. She's like, I didn't even really notice that you got naked. Like, it was just so, yeah. She's like, it was just so amazing to watch. She's like, it was so cool. And then, yeah, it was after the first time she seen me compete that you could tell like there was like a proudness. And when I won Miss Nude Diamonds, like, you know, when they say like, oh, like, I made my mom so proud that I was a stripper that she fucking cried for me. Like when I won Miss New Diamonds, like she cried and I was like, that's so cool that like my mom's so proud of me in this industry that she shed tears of joy for it.
My mom cries every competition now.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's amazing and it's so emotional. And like my sisters come now. At first, my sisters were like a little bit embarrassed that I was a stripper. Like, I think because their friends would like make fun of them or like follow me on social media. Like, every once in a while, I'd get a text message from my sisters and be like, "Can you block so and so?" Like, they're showing people at school your account. And now,
I guess so.
They're like obsessed that I'm a stripper. They like take all their friends. They brag about it. Like, they love that I'm a stripper. So,
no, yeah, and now they're at the club. Every fucking birthday, all the time. They're always supporting you. They're at every Strip Olympics. They're on stage with you now.
Yeah, my sisters actually help me. Like, they're on stage with me usually. Like, the youngest one, Rihanna, hasn't been on stage with me yet, but they helped. She got to help with stuff behind the scenes the last time I competed. But this year, they'll be, like, right on stage with me. So they get their whole costumes and everything. Like, they're a part of the show. They're the props.
I'm so fucking excited. I not only have I watched you grow as a dancer, but I've watched your sisters grow as well, just as humans. Was your one sister work the front door now?
Yeah, the youngest one works the front door every now and then, yeah.
You're so sweet, puppy. It's wild how things can change, and I completely understand why anyone I know who's a mom who has a teenager, my mom doesn't get it. She's like, oh, I just feel like if I was a stripper and I told you, you'd understand. And I'm like, it's different. When a kid is in high school, it's so easy to get bullied. Like, so I get it. I get why people don't want to tell their teenagers that they're a stripper. So I get why your sisters might be embarrassed and like rumors spread easily and like they could be accused of being strippers too. Kids are evil, like fucking evil.
Yeah. So, but they were pretty good about it, honestly. As I said, I'm like, and I always said, like, you let me know if I need to block anybody, and I will block them, and I did, and like that was usually enough. Like they never voiced it if it ever did bother them further than that. Like I know it made them uncomfortable a little bit, but yeah, after they seen what I could do, they were same thing. After they seen it, they were like, this is incredible.
Yeah,
but you have to see it.
You do, especially the Stripper Olympic. It's like it's inspiring. It's wild. We're stripping, yes, but like it's fucking wild.
Well, yeah, the show that we put on, it like I'm already starting to plan everything. Like it takes months of planning and like so much detail and psychology even that goes into it. Like there's just so fucking much, and people don't understand. Like, oh, it's just a show. Like it's not just a show, and usually it takes multiple people to put something on, and we do it by ourselves with help of others like the DJ and our stagehands and stuff, but it's our vision and our responsibility to make it all come through.
Yes.
And like give those people their jobs, you know, like they need to be doing their jobs, but like we're like, hey, you got to say this at this point and play this song at this point and do this at this time. Like, so we plan it all out, and it's just we give them the guide.
Yes.
So
no, it is, and you're planning like a mini movie on stage. Like you are telling a story. Yes. Holy fuck. There's so much put into it, and it's so obvious when people don't do it. Like it's getting so crazy every fucking year. The planning, the scripts, the writing. Like it used to be like you draw your stage on
And
the
that's
back of
it,
a poster, and then you like give the DJs like, I don't know, like instructions like this. Now we're like, they have books and organization and like measuring on what happens and exactly at this second the lights and then the smoke machine and then this, and it's a butt ton of energy and work and people involved.
And you only get one shot. It's not even like a movie. Like you get like, you go out there and you're like, hey, this better work. Like we are only now doing practice rehearsals, which like those only came in a couple years ago. Like I would go in and do practice rehearsals all the time, but nobody else would. And now they're like actually scheduling it because every girl realizes, and the DJs and the porters and everyone, excuse me, have realized like how much those practice runs help everybody.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's very important.
You only get one show. It's your prelim show to make it through and like where there's an audience. So if something goes wrong and you didn't plan it out properly, or like one of your little people that's helping you fucked up, it's like, it is what it is and it sucks. Like that's another thing that like, yeah, all that planning can be for absolutely nothing.
I just got goosebumps. That reminds me of Crystal's show. It just, there was so much put into that show. And she didn't make it to finals.
She didn't make it to finals, yeah.
But that's with everyone's show. I think it's just because it was so fun that we're like, she should have made it through. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It is so hard. Fun. It's so hard when like the dancers are everyone's getting so good and so creative that it's like, who makes it to finals?
That's why I'm so glad I'm fucking retiring. Oh my God. I can't, like, every time I've come in to fucking practice fire or to meet someone for a hockey game or whatnot, there's a girl on stage practicing. It's 4 months out. I don't want to keep up with that. I'm like, what else can I add to my show to make it more intense? Fuck this. Fuck it all. Like, oh my God, that's so much effort. They're really, like, they're bringing the smoke. They really fucking are. The youngins. Oh my God. Oh,
for sure. Yeah. And this is my last year competing too. Like, I'm really excited about it, but I'm also super nervous because I'm just like, man, like and I'm sure you had this too. You feel like you have a lot to prove. Like you're going in there with like, people are expecting goodness, you know? Like, so yeah, it's like, and I've taken a 2-year break. So I'm like, also like, I feel a little rusty. So
you got it. Your hoop show's fucking insane. So with your auntie threatening, is she supportive now? Like, tell me about the elders in your family, grandma, grandpas and stuff like that. The people that usually would stick up their nose to stripping.
I mean, I don't talk to my auntie anymore. We had like a falling out in the family. Like I'll see her and we're cordial at like family get-togethers.
Did she ever come and watch you dance?
She did, I feel like I not for that. A competition though, but she was the one that was like the most bitter about it. But I don't like it's like built-in misogyny, and also like if I had to guess, there's probably a lot of like bitterness and jealousy built into that, the way she feels about it too.
Yeah.
So yeah, she was never fully supportive of it. She was like, okay, you do that. Like she was never super supportive of it. No.
Did she judge your show when she seen it?
Yeah, she tried to say that I fucked up at one point, and I was like, no, I didn't. She's like, oh, I seen a little like mishap there, and I was like, no, you
Shut
didn't.
Up. What's her name?
My auntie?
Yeah.
Nikki.
Shut up, Nikki.
Yeah, like no, she never really got to like see what I could do at like Stripper Olympics or like anything like that. So yeah. But she did come into Shade a few times and she had a blast. So I mean, I don't know. But my grandparents, they've all like, my grandma actually had a problem with it. So Nikki and my mom's mom had a little bit of like a problem with it. Like she would voice like, when are you going to get out of that? Like maybe it's time for you to get out of that. Like she was okay with it and she never like disowned me, but she's like, when are you going to like move on to something different? And now she's like, oh, like you won that contest or like you're competing, like good luck. Like I'm proud of you. Like she's excited. She would never come. I don't think. She doesn't like crowds to begin with, but yeah, I think she's seen what I can do a little bit more. Like she's seen some of the videos and like costumes and like practice videos. And so I think she's opened up her eyes and like also seen like how happy I am today and like how well I'm doing in my life. And how can you argue with that?
Yeah.
Like
really.
How can you argue with like who I am? Because I'm happy, I'm supporting myself, I'm healthy. Like
And they genuinely want the best for you. And with such a strong stigma surrounding this job, it's hard not to sound concerned when someone starts stripping. Even when someone new starts stripping nowadays, even though coke and stuff isn't around, I worry about the new girls all the time. Like, are they prepped for this? Is it going to lead to an addiction? There's a bunch of things that could go wrong with stripping for sure. But we're definitely career strippers. I think it takes time for family to see that and notice it.
Yeah. No, and there's definitely a lot of girls that still have like addiction problems and all that stuff. So like that stereotype doesn't come from nowhere.
Yeah.
Like stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason.
Yeah. It used to be so fucking different.
And it is, but it still is bad. We just don't get to see, like we are so privileged to not see it.
We do work in like the higher up clubs. I don't know how to word that right. Like the clubs that have like more security, more rules, more privileges.
Yeah, and like they really pride themselves on being professional, and they don't like Shade is really awesome too. Any suspicion of drug use, and they are
up your ass.
They're up your ass. Like, but they also, I've seen them express like not just like you're fired. Like they're like, hey, what's going on with your life? Like, what are you doing? What are you using? Like, maybe you need to take some time off. And like, you know, I've seen them be more concerned than just like get the fuck out of here. But they don't have a tolerance for drug use.
Nope.
So.
Not at all. Because it's...
And they put the girls on sobriety contracts all the time, too, when girls have issues with drinking.
Because it is obvious. Like, it's... When you go to a club and everyone's doing it, it's not obvious. But when, like, you got all of these dancers who look, sound, and smell amazing, walking completely coherently, and then there's the one that's stumbling, it looks bad.
Yeah.
And it also is kind of scary. Like, I've definitely seen girls get so fucked up that they can't walk, and it does seem scary. Because if they do that in a different club, you have no idea where they're going. Like, I've worked clubs that don't have security at all, which blows my fucking mind. If that girl goes to, like, a different club with her addiction problems because she can't handle Shade, she could get taken from somewhere.
Yeah.
She could even walk into an alley and freeze to death. There's a million things that could go wrong. Buckley, it's my time to shine. Come here, Buckley. Buckley wants to share her opinion on what it was like when I was a stripper. Tell him.
She's traumatized, actually.
I'm traumatized. My mom's a whore. You're so sweet, Buckley. It pays for all your vet bills, dumbass.
What was it that you told me that your brother likes to say at family supper?
Fuck, there's so many. What was it? Oh my God, it's slipping my mind. It's something to do with being a fucking stripper.
Yeah, it's something about being like a whore or something, and it's really funny. We laughed so hard about it the other day.
Yeah, the Borat.
Borat
My
one.
sister's biggest whore in Kazakhstan, #1 prostitute. We'll be talking about like my brother. We even ran into an old friend in high school. I was working in Edson, and I ran into an old friend from high school, and he was like, "Yeah, like it's always the same shit that we hear about your family. It's like, oh, Emily's still a stripper and Doug is hopping from job to job." Like, he just like, and that's not saying that he can't keep a job. It's because he's an electrician and there's always someone offering something better or more hours or this or that or a different company. And he works out of town. So he wants to be as close to his house as possible. So he does switch jobs a lot. And like my family's, they don't want to talk about me being a stripper at the dinner table, right? So it's usually always talking about my brother Doug and his new job, wherever it is, being an electrician. And I'll be like, yeah, no, it's fine. Don't ask me about my job. And he'll always be like, oh, yeah.
My sister's #1 prostitute.
My sister's #1 prostitute in Kazakhstan.
I love that so much. But I like that when families can like joke about it and stuff like so much.
He calls me a dropout all the time. And
did you drop out of school?
I did, but then I got my GED.
Oh, no fucking way.
Yeah.
I was such like a goody-goody.
I was too.
Yeah,
but,
which is surprising. Yeah. You're a goody-goody too.
I am a goody-goody, but it's because I had to go to rehab.
Oh,
super dark and deep, but
right,
yeah, I had an eating disorder and it was pretty powerful at the moment. And I had pretty okay grades, so like doing the GED wasn't too terrifying. But yeah, my brother always calls me a dropout or the family stripper, and there's a million things you could make fun of. Face tattoos, yeah. Yeah,
I love being roasted too. I like it when people can roast me. I think it's hilarious. My sister's boyfriend made a comment about, or maybe one of his friends said something, and my sister got upset about it. No, yeah, okay, so it was my sister's boyfriend had friends over, and they were roasting the fact that Hannah had a stripper sister, and she got really upset, and Jaren's like, dude, Anya would love this.
Yeah.
Like, she thinks it's hilarious. Like, you don't need to get upset, like, and defend her. Like, she fucking loves this shit.
I think it's only offensive when it actually, like, applies. Like, jokes about being a stripper, and, like, they usually come with some kind of derogatory term attached to them. And, like, it's only upsetting if it's true, you know?
Yeah, and or if they're, like, trying to hurt you.
Yeah.
If, like, they're trying, like, when someone comes up to you and it's like, oh, you're such a fucking whore. It's like, yeah, that doesn't insult me just because I don't believe it, but it's like, I'm annoyed that you thought that would hurt me. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't actually hurt, like, at all. Like, that my auntie, what did she say? I think she said, yeah, you're just a whore or something. I don't remember what she said, and I was like, it's so funny that you thought that would hurt my feelings. Like,
true.
I'm like, you could say a lot of things probably that would hurt my feelings, and that is just not one of them.
I had a similar thing happen at a Taboo convention. For those who are not in Canada, Taboo is a convention that goes around that's everything sex. Strippers, not escorts or anything like that, but strippers, sex toys, like
porn.
Waterproof blankets, porn, performances, a plethora of things, bongs, stuff like that. Anything adult, it's kind of everything to do with sex.
Yeah, it's like an exotic adult convention show.
Yeah. And the previous dancing company I was working for was doing stage dances, and then we were also doing lap dances at our booth, which was super lucrative because...
Oh, that's cool. You could do lap dance at the booth. That's fucking crazy.
Oh, yeah.
That's
and then,
so
like,
cool.
People can see. So when you're doing like the handstands and stuff, they love it, especially like the drunk white women. Oh my God, they love a good lap dance from a girl. And I was dancing. At the time, my mom already knew that I was a stripper, which makes this so much funnier. My cousin was walking around and seeing me, and she was plastered. And I just heard her like scream my real name, and I was like, what the fuck? And she comes up, she's like, this is what happens in the bedroom. This is for the bedroom. This is not for the blah, 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 blah. Like, oh, does your mom know? She's like flustered, all fuck. And I'm like, it's all good. It's fine. You need to leave the booth. You are like fucking
whoa, and like,
fucking
to be at
money.
a sex convention too and like be saying all that stuff
And
is ridiculous.
wasted. I'm like, I don't talk to this cousin anymore for this reason because even her apology was so stupid. But she walks outside and calls my mom, and my mom was laughing about it because she thought it was so funny that my cousin was like very concerned about me, and like she kind of thought it was endearing. I thought it was like the fuck, because I know things about this cousin as well that I would never call her mom up and be like, oh my God, we're both fucking adults. If you really are that concerned, talk to me. And like, was my mortgage broker. We're getting super close. Like lived close to each other. Like,
did she know you were a stripper?
I thought she knew. Like, I didn't think I had to tell her either. And at the time I was just doing topless. So I didn't think it was that bad. My mom calls me the next day and it's like, oh yeah, Jenny was like very upset, blah, 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 going off about this. And I was like upset because I'm like, I know some way more serious things that she's done in her past that she's told me about drunkenly. And I would never call up my auntie and be like, oh my God, this and that. Because like, I'll just talk to her as a fucking adult.
Yeah.
You're the one who helped me with my mortgage. You don't think I'm an adult enough for you to talk to me about this? But the thing that upset me the most is that my mom didn't stand up for me. And it caused a lot of drama between me and my mom. I'm like, you should have stood up for me.
Yeah.
And eventually she did see that later on. She did call my cousin and was like, you know, she's upset. And I see why she's upset. Like, my mom didn't care that much. She still doesn't care. It still fucking bugs me. But my cousin did call me that day later, and her apology was so shitty. And I'm just like, how can a fucking adult who has 2 kids apologize like this to someone they call family? Was just like, I guess I may have overreacted, but I wasn't expecting to, like, there was no actual apology. And then she goes, maybe next time, don't bring your mom into this. I just hung up. I was like, you're
the one that called
You called
mom.
my fucking mom. You're the one who called her. She's like, you should have just called me if you had a problem with it. I'm like, that's where the problem began. Is that you didn't.
Hi, sweet girl.
You didn't do that, and you're 10 years older than me.
Buckley.
Sweet girl, over there. My angel baby. But still,
She really wants affection.
she hasn't made any attempt to ever make it up to me or apologize, like a real apology, which I hate because where did I get that in the family? I'm so good at apologizing. I love a good apology. A good apology gets me fucking rock hard. Like, oh my God, I remember every great apology I have had in my head, like of who said what and everything. And just like, that was one of the weakest, shittiest apologies I've ever gotten from a fucking family member. It was like, she didn't even care at all. I'm like, you called with all this concern about me, but now you're talking to me and you still have no concern about how I feel You have no regard for my fucking emotions or anything, or how this made me feel shameful and like embarrassed. And like, I need to watch out for anything that you're going to say behind my back. We're adults. But yeah, that was like the only real family. Like, everyone on my dad's side obviously fucking hates I'm a stripper. They're all Hutterites. That's okay.
Yeah, fair.
But on my mom's side, like, it upset me because I was like, you have sat outside with me talking about your coke problem and all these wild things you did as a fucking kid and all this stuff I've never fucking experienced. Yeah, and you are sitting here upset with me because I'm doing public lap dances and my mom already knew about it. Like, why are you telling on me?
And regardless, even if, like, you, as you said, you're an adult, even if your mom didn't know about it or wasn't okay with it, like, what's calling her gonna do?
Yeah, especially like that. Like, if... Yeah, that's trying to shame me out of it and everything and
get you into trouble, like
get me into trouble. Like, what am I? You just signed my mortgage papers. I'm 22 years old. Sign my mortgage papers. I'm old enough to fucking have a house, but not enough to be like sexually empowered.
Yeah.
Little wild to me.
So do you feel like you're a stripper because of your family, or why do you think that, like, people are always like, why do you think you do it?
Being expressive. I've been always very self-expressive. I cannot dress or act a certain way at all. There's never been, like, how people have in their head, like, oh, I wish I could have these tattoos, but I have this job. What are you talking about? You literally are putting how you want to look aside and how you want to act or your freedoms aside to make your money doesn't even compute in my fucking head.
Yeah, which is awesome. That's so cool. You get to be the most authentic version of yourself.
Truly. I get that everyone needs to make money. I get people get put in situations where they really have to think money first and whatnot. And I'm very blessed that I started stripping when I did, how I did, and with the way that I look and how I kind of fell into it. I definitely didn't go at it thinking I was going to become a stripper, but I was always looking for jobs that can accept me the way that I look and dress. Because I can't do uniforms. I can't fucking do this corporate desk job. I can't be told to dress or look a certain way. It just never works. Even when I started getting so tattooed so young, there wasn't many available options for me. I don't know. It just fell into my lap, honestly, because the strippers came to the tattoo shop I was working at. Then suddenly I was the manager of that whole stripping agency, and then we realized he was shitty, and then we went to a different agency. That's when I started taking my top off and realizing the money was awesome and that I could look and dress these certain ways. And then my friends were going to Alberta and Winnipeg, and what are you talking about? You can dress as SpongeBob on stage and learn to do handstands and juggle and get paid for it? Like, this is the dream. So, I don't know. I think it fell into my lap. I was never looking for it, but it's like something I definitely needed because job opportunities for me are very slim.
Yeah, that's fair. Does that ever scare you a little bit? Like,
over COVID, when everyone's like, oh, the clubs are going to close and all this stuff, I was terrified. I hate working in tattoo shops. It's such a toxic environment. It's so unprofessional. There's no HR. There's no nothing. There's so many bad things in tattoo shops. Come at me. I don't care in the comments. It's completely true. The things that go through the tattoo shops, the unprofessionalism, everything, there's no rules, there's no regulation with any of it. I hate working in those shops, but that's like all my options are.
I mean, the same can be said about strip clubs, though.
Yeah, completely.
But you enjoy the strip club.
I enjoy the strip club, and there's far more outlets. Like with a tattoo shop, it's like it's this way or the highway, but at least in a strip club, you have your fellow women to talk to and confide in and compare things to. But the options for me are like what? OnlyFans? But I'm not even good at that. And I'm great at dancing. It just like the options were very slim. Yeah. Like very few and far between. So it scared the fuck out of me. It scares the fuck out of me all the time when the clubs burn down and they don't rebuild them. Like,
yeah, it is. It is a little bit scary. I don't know why I became like a stripper. I think I've tried to like deep dive like further into it and being like, why did I become a stripper? And I do feel like deep down, it definitely stems from the fact that like I need constant validation. Oh, God. And that's the perfect way to get it.
Hell yeah.
So it's like and then the rest of the time, if I'm getting it there, I don't really feel like I need it in my life as much anywhere else.
Do you think that's why we have a hard time dating is because like we aren't searching for the validation?
like, as I said, I really fill my cup with that shit. So it's like, I don't need it anywhere else. I don't know.
Was COVID hard for you because you weren't getting?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Really? I was worried it was gonna be like, I thought I was like, oh my God, if I'm not getting told I'm hot every day, I wonder if that's gonna do something to my psyche. Not much happened.
Yeah, I mean, I was just really sad.
Yeah.
I was just really sad. I don't know. I would like to say that's the most depressed I've ever been, which it comes pretty close to going through a breakup.
Like what we were talking about last night.
Yeah, I said that's like the biggest, like going through a breakup was the biggest pain I've ever felt in my life. Like that's crazy how painful that is. But that was probably a second close because I was just so depressed. But the thing is like I broke all the rules during COVID. And so I got to be with my family a lot. Like we would just say like, oh, we're in a cohort. Like we didn't live together, but like my mom and my two sisters lived together. And then me and the guy I was dating at the time, like my 8-year relationship, lived on an acreage. So they would always just come out to us because like no one could see anything. And like we spent like so much time together. So that made me feel better and less depressed. But yeah, I wanted to go back to dancing so bad because yeah, it fills my cup in like so many different ways. So.
It really does. It feels great. Like, I don't know if I need a validation in the compliment form, but like dancing, I tried so hard to go to Shade and practice, and without that like crowd screaming at me, I can't perform.
Yeah, it's not that I need compliments. It's like exactly. It's like the energy and stuff that you're commanding a crowd and people are watching you and tipping you and clapping for you. That's the kind of validation that I absolutely love. Like you're so in control and like empowered and yeah.
Yeah.
That's my least favorite part of the job is like when I'm on stage and people aren't paying attention to me. That's like when I get so upset. Like last night that happened and I got off stage like really grumpy and it took me a bit to shake it off.
Yeah. I fucking hate that too. Oh
yeah, it's frustrating. It's very, very, very frustrating because that's like why I do it. That's why I love it, is because of the validation it gives you. And then when they're not doing it, you're like,
especially when we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah. And it's like, can you do it? There was a guy in Kelowna the other day. There was so the whole half of the stage was this lame ass stag party. The other half of the stage, everyone's clapping and cheering and wooing. And I actually went over to them. I'm like, you guys are a literal buzzkill in this corner.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can clap. And he goes, I'll clap when you can do something when you can do something impressive. And I was like, how about you clap every time I do something you can't? And all of a sudden they start clapping.
Yeah.
I was like, that easy as that. I'm like, you don't need to be impressed, but you can't fucking do it. So
that's for everyone out there. If you're not buying dances and you're not tipping on stage, the least you can do is clap.
Yeah, clap. Like
for us. Buckley, I know. And you can go outside soon. I know you're going to cry. You're going to cry? Okay. Tell them how you feel. Thank you.
Buckley is the true co-star today.
Yeah. Okay, Buckley. No, I feel like that's a very positive note for us to leave on. I feel like that's one of the most common questions is like how, like on the Peelerz podcast that we get anyway is,
what can I do to be a good strip club customer? Clap.
That, and also like, how do your parents feel about this? Like, I want to start, but I don't know how my parents are going to react. How do I tell them? We could have definitely dove into way more of that, and maybe we will in the future. But that being said, I also do want to make sure that everyone knows that the inbox for our Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, everything is open for any questions. And we will always address them as long as they're appropriate to talk about, of course, or if we want to talk about them, or if it's offensive or insulting, we're probably not going to touch on it. But anyone who wants to send us their stripper stories of something they've experienced themselves, or someone who wants to get into the industry and wants info, or if you just have silly questions that you want us to answer about our personal lives, feel fucking free. Please message us. We love to get to know our fan base, and we want you to get to know us.
Yeah, we'll read them on the podcast and answer them.
Hell yeah, and we'll have champagne next time.
Hey, I'm not drinking this week, so
yeah, me either. Like, 4 days in a row in Kelowna. Oh God!
Yeah, like I needed a little break.
Yeah,
it's been a fun spring.
Yeah, and summer's coming. So yeah, feel free to check us out: Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and did I say YouTube? Yeah. Instagram, TikTok. Follow it all. Follow Anya. Follow me. Follow Buckley. Have a great and wonderful, safe night. Tip your dancers and make sure to clap.
Have a good one.
Bye.